guys, I am coming to you with one burnt arm, ready to discuss City of Lost Souls. So luckily this book was so much better than the last one. I really did not care for City of Fallen Angels. I think I just have put it up to such standards now, and I read the first three, and I read Clockwork Angel and Clockwork Prince, and then I read City of Fallen Angels, and I was so let down. I don't know why, but this book did not let me down. I love this book. Basically, Sebastian's like, oh, I'm back, and then he's like, Jace, you're now my puppet, I like control you, and then they're gone, and they rode off into the sunset, and then everyone else was like, where's Jace? And then it was over. Oh my gosh, no one has called me all day, and then as soon as I turned on the camera, 3 people have called me. Okay, well, for those of you who read book 4 but you didn't read book 5, this book is basically, you know, Jace is gone, and so now Clary and Jace's family and everyone's trying to just find him, and we know he's with Sebastian, so we're trying to kind of catch Sebastian and find Jace, which we can kind of do at the same time, hopefully, and that's pretty much what this book is about. So yeah, if you haven't read book 5, you should go read it and then come back, because we are going to discuss City of Lost Souls in detail. So bye. So the book starts off, Jace is still gone, which sucks, and the Clave's like, yeah, we're gonna postpone that because we have bigger things going on. So Clary and Jace's family and stuff are all irritated, obviously, because so it's like up to them now to find him, basically. I really just enjoyed how Clary and Simon had like the fairy rings, and they were like communicating, and maybe it wasn't that smart that Clary just like ran off with Jace and Sebastian, but you know, all I gotta say is like, good thing Magnus is around, because I just feel like he helps them so much, and in this book they're all just like kind of camped out in his apartment, but this book really actually makes me laugh out loud. Magnus makes me laugh, Jace makes me laugh. It was very odd because Jace is like happy and Clary's just kind of like, oh, well, what the heck, you know, I was expecting to see like some guy that's like being tortured and all this stuff. I had very mixed feelings about it. I don't really know what happened to me. At the end of City of Glass, I hated Sebastian so much, and it's like book 4 happened and I kind of like almost forgot how much I hated him, and then now I'm here in City of Lost Souls, and whenever you start really getting into the scenes with like Clary and Jace and Sebastian is just like, you know, doing these things that are actually kind of nice sometimes, and he's actually like saving Clary's life, and he's like chatting with her, and just in the beginning of the book, I was almost fooled for a while, and I was like, and he mentioned something like, I changed Jace, and maybe Jace's blood changed me. Wow, yeah, maybe. No, so dumb. Why would I think that? Why would I think that Sebastian's like all of a sudden good? Did I forget that he killed Max and freaking Hodge and all these awesome people? And I was so dumb. I was so naive and gullible, and I don't know. But anyway, Sebastian's still a freak. He's still a weirdo. He's so bad. He's just so bad. I really like the scenes with all of that. It was so great. I loved all the fighting scenes. I love how Clary's like kicking butt now, and she's like got her Shadowhunter training in. I thought it was very strange how I almost forgot how Jace was gone. It's like once they were back together, it's like he was kind of acting kind of happy-ish, and I almost like forgot, like it's like it wasn't even my top concern that we have to get Jace back. It was like he was fine. He wasn't like tortured and unhappy, and so I just kind of like stopped thinking about it so much. And it's like the first half of the book or so, I'm not sure how long, I really just wasn't that concerned with it. I wanted Sebastian to be stopped, and it wasn't really until Jace came back, like actually came back, that it hit me, and I was like, oh my gosh, like what have I been thinking? Like, and Jace said he would literally rather die than go back to being like how he was, and I just felt so awful because I had almost forgotten like that it wasn't even like a big deal, and I was just like, yeah, Jace is with Clary and Sebastian, and I knew it wasn't right, but I'm saying I just didn't realize how wrong it was until the real Jace came back. This is so bad. Like, we have to get them separated. Like, Sebastian is such an awful person, and I loved it when Jace came back, and I love how he's so brave, and he wanted to go to the Clave, and he wanted to turn himself in so Sebastian could get caught, and I love that whole scene, and I love how Jace is just like, I will always hate you to Sebastian and stuff. Then there's Clary, who wakes up Sebastian catching Jace. I was so shocked that happened. I mean, I can try to understand, because he was going to turn himself in, he would die. I really like Jace. But really, did she have to wake up? Freak of a brother. Yeah, so I wasn't really happy with her, but I can kind of understand, sort of. Maybe not. Yeah, and then the whole part with like Sebastian and Clary and that she was his, and it was just very creepy, and oh, I just, again, was reminded how much I disliked him, and it kind of made me mad because there for a while I forgot, and it was just, ugh. But back on Team Good, yeah, Simon was being really brave himself, and the whole part with like the angel was like crazy, and I can't believe that, you know, they got the sword, glorious, and that was insane. And then Simon's, the mark was gone, and that's just been such a big part of Simon. It's just odd with him not having it. The whole part with the Iron Sisters was odd, and then how they made like the second Mortal Cup. There for a minute, I actually was believing Sebastian's story, like why they wanted the cup. And then I thought about it more and more. I'm like, you know what? I doubt this. Once, you know, the cup is made and Jace is back to being Sebastian's Jace and not the real Jace, and they go to the battle, and that was just insane. And I didn't think that they had actually drank from the cup. I thought they would, like, you know, Alec and all them would get there first, and I think most of them, if not all, actually ended up drinking from the cup before they got there. But Alec, I found out, is like freaking crazy good with that bow and arrow. I was so upset whenever Magnus got hurt though in the fight. Poor Magnus, and I thought he was gonna die for a minute, and I was like really mad. Isabel was awesome in this book as normal. Oh, I like that her and Simon are like, you know, practically dating now, even though I don't know if they realize it, but they are to me. Yeah, so the battle was all good, everything was going well, and then yeah, Clary's just like, give me the sword, and just like stabs Jace, and I was like, what? Oh, and then I just thought, please be good, because remember the part with it was like if you stab them and all this stuff, like how the evil, like the good will overcome the evil or something, like depending on how evil they are and all this stuff. So in other words, if you stab Sebastian, he would for sure die. Whereas Jace, I've always believed in Jace, and I always loved Jace, and I knew he wouldn't die. I knew it as soon as it happened. Did not realize how it would actually end though, with like the heavenly fire. That was interesting. So he's like glowing and he can't really touch Clary. That was all odd and unexpected. Kind of cool. Maybe not cool. I don't know. So happy that they finally get to get together and they're happy. And Sebastian, of course, ran off, but I didn't expect them to kill him. There's still another book, but Sebastian's on the run. And yeah, Clary, I'm so glad Jace is back finally. The whole Alec and Magnus thing. Oh my gosh. Alright. I understand Alec is a little upset because his boyfriend is really old. He's going to continue to be getting just even older and older. Alec has a very short life compared to him. Why would he consider, though, shortening his life? Whom he supposedly loves. Why in the world how does that seem like a good idea? I was a little irritated with that, like with him. I was like, Alec, look at the big picture here, but and then the whole ending with Magnus breaking up with Alec and him basically telling him like, I can't be with you. Yes, I love you, but it doesn't matter because you tried to shorten my life. Like, that's not okay. And I can understand Magnus's part totally. I wish Sebastian and Magnus. Ugh. I wish Alec would have just been like, look, I've only been talking to Camille because I can't always talk to you. I wish he would have just told him everything, been honest. Yeah, by the way, I liked Camille a lot in these books, and then not so much in the Mortal Instruments series, which is like years later. I find that interesting. I don't know why. Because I didn't really like her in these books, and I feel like she's just kind of creating problems, like between Alec and Magnus. And then the part happens with, was it Marine? And Alec and Camille. Oh my gosh. Whenever he finds her, and she's like, oh yeah, she's not here and stuff, I'm like, oh, geez, this girl is a freak, and she's gonna end up killing everybody, and I cannot believe that she is, like, the head vampire now. That's, like, insane. Everyone's doomed, pretty much, I feel like. Crazy how things happen. That part was very emotional with, like, Magnus and Alec to me, and then the end with, like, the silent brother and, like, the wings on the ground, and what? I was so grossed out, and it was shocking, and I was like, where did those come from? And what did he say? I am coming. Dun dun dun. This is what stinks. I was kind of behind in all these books, and I read these books, and I could just read one and then get the next one. Well, now I have to wait on the very last one, which is City of Heavenly Fire, and it was such a big, like, the way it ended, I just want to know what's going to happen with Sebastian, and with Jace, and the Heavenly Fire, and just everything. So, super excited for the next one. I just found out about Cassandra Clare's new trilogy that she's coming out with, which will probably be another couple years before I get to read that, but I'm still excited, and I can't wait for more Cassandra flippin' Clare books because they're just amazing. So this will be, with an exception of Clockwork Princess book review, one of my last book reviews for Cassandra Clare for probably over a year. So that's kind of sad because I just started this channel in January and I've reviewed a lot of her books so far. I've reviewed 6, almost 7, I think, book reviews of hers, or books. So yeah, that's a lot. But let me know what your thoughts were for this book. Let me know parts that surprised you and you know, shocked you, parts you liked and you didn't like. What did you think of Sebastian? Did he, like, surprise you? Did you know the whole time, like, don't trust him, he's totally a liar? And let me know your thoughts. So I'm going to go. It's amazing and so nice out, and I'm going to go spend some time outside. But you all have a great day. I hope it's nice out where you are too. And I will see you guys later. Bye! So this book